Yoshinobu Yamamoto continues to deal for the Los Angeles Dodgers. It's a rainy day for the Royals and Reds, and is the sky still falling for the New York Mets after this Memorial Day weekend? We're going to get into all of that, take you around the league. This is Locked On MLB Game Night.
When that final out is made, you know it's time for Locked On MLB Game Night. All the post-game reactions to every game across the league, every single night, with insights only the hosts at Locked On can provide. Prepare to experience game day reactions like never before. Only on Locked On MLB Game Night. Your team every day.
Welcome to another edition of Locked On MLB Game Night. Every game, every night, we're here taking you around the league with the local experts of the Locked On Podcast Network. My name is John Frisch. I'm one half of Locked On Angels. That's my friend JD Hafron of Locked On Cardinals. Coming up on today's show, we've got extra innings in San Diego. The Red Sox sent their ace to the mound, but did they get it done against the Brewers? And the Diamondbacks look to snap a 5-game losing streak. But first, we're going to take you to the Dodgers meeting the Guardians in Cleveland. Some interleague play as they have a fun pitching matchup. It's Yoshinobu Yamamoto for the Dodgers, Gavin Williams for the Guardians. Let's find out from Jeff Snyder how this one went down for his Blue Crew as we take a look at the start from his team. Let's find Jeff here right now. Here we go.
Do my eyes deceive me, or is that run support for Yoshinobu Yamamoto? What's up? It's Jeff Snyder from Locked On Dodgers. Yamamoto has gotten very poor run support throughout the season. Today, the Dodgers scored 7 runs for him, and he was his usual dominant self, in control the whole game. 6 innings, 2 earned runs. Realistically, probably could have been less than that with a little bit of help from his defense. But 7 strikeouts, 5 base runners in the 6 innings. Just continues to be the best pitcher in the National League, maybe the best pitcher in baseball. Absolutely dominant performance from Yamamoto. And on the offensive side, home runs from both Shohei Ohtani on the first pitch of the game and Will Smith in the 9th inning, bookending the game where the Dodgers went 4 for 8 with runners in scoring position, had 16 base runners, including 8 walks. They just worked the Guardian starting pitcher. He had to throw 109 pitches to get through 4 2/3 innings. Dodgers just beat up on the Guardians to start this series, hopefully bouncing back from a rough series in New York. Be sure to check out Locked On Dodgers on YouTube, wherever you get podcasts. First thing every weekday morning.
Yeah, 115 miles per hour, JD, off the bat of Shohei Ohtani. Not quite.
Is that good?
Not quite O'Neal Cruz's 123 miles an hour over the weekend. You think it's funny that, you've got Aaron Judge and Shohei Ohtani, and I'd even say Mike Trout. I'd throw him in there, but it's O'Neal Cruz with 123 off the bat, the hardest hit ball in the since the StatCast began in 2015. Now, it's one thing for a team to give their guy run support, but when you get it in the first inning, that creates a totally different mindset, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's less stressful. All the pressure's kind of, you can breathe, Right. It just makes it feel like you don't have to be perfect with every pitch that you make anymore. You aren't afraid to challenge more hitters when you have a lead. If you make a mistake, not the end of the world. And when you got a lineup like the Dodgers, it just puts you in the driver's seat from the get-go. You put the other team behind the 8 ball, and the other team has to play keep up, because more times than not, this Dodgers offense is going to continue to put up runs, not just in the first inning. You still got 8 more of these suckers to go, and just a heck of a team they got in LA.
Yeah, like you said a couple days ago, stud after stud after stud. Yamamoto, to his credit, has been dominant this year. He's 6-3 on the season, a 1.97 ERA across 11 starts and 64 innings. And listen to this, a 0.91 walks and hits per innings pitch. So 9/10 of a guy getting on base in an inning for Yamamoto. So that sub-1 whip is just incredible. And then Gavin Williams for the Guardians took the loss, his first one in the month of May. He's been having a great month of May prior to this start. Picked up 2 wins across 4 starts, has 20 innings pitched, 5 earnings, and a 2.25 ERA before the Dodgers took it to him in this one. So disappointing, but it was, a pitching matchup to look forward to coming into the game, but it was Yamamoto who was able to run away with this one. Let's take it to the White Sox meeting the Mets at Citi Field. Hey, by the way, Adrian Hauser, do you want to join the White Sox? And if you do, your first start's going to be against the first place Mariners, and then your second start is going to be against the powerhouse Mets. Is that sound good to you, Mr. Adrian Hauser? Well,
if you're getting paid Major League Baseball salary instead of minor league, hell yeah, sign me up.
He's in, man. He pitched 6 shutout innings versus the Mariners last week, and in this start versus the Mets today. But Chris Schubert of the Locked On Mets postcast, he's going to tell us how this one went down and how his team was able to stay in the game until the very end. Let's get to Chris right now as we take a look at the reactions here. Oh, hold on. There we go. We're missing out here. I'm losing my my videos. Come on now. Where'd we go here? Chris Schubert of the Locked On postcast for the Mets. My videos went missing, JD. What'd you do to me over here? Here we go. That's what we're looking for.
I don't know.
Who says you need to get hits with runners in scoring position? A pair of sacrifice flies give the Mets their 5th walk-off win of the season, their 13th come from behind victory already, pushing them. Who says you need to get hits with runners in scoring position? A pair of sacrifice flies give the Mets their 5th walk-off win of the season, their 13th come from behind victory already, pushing them to 20-6 at home. Chris Schubert, host of the Locked On Mets postcast. The Mets don't play their best baseball, but they do just enough. First 7 innings in offense that is frustrating, makes you want to pull your hair out, continuing some of the same concerns that we've had over the last couple of weeks. But a Juan Soto sacrifice fly in the 8th and a walk-off sac fly from Francisco Lindor with the bases loaded in the 9th allow the Mets to push their winning streak out to 3. It was a decent day on the mound for Clay Holmes. The New York Mets bullpen continues to be excellent. 3 1/3 scoreless innings, and you feel like when you're playing a team that only has 17 wins like the White Sox, the longer you can keep this game 1-0, and the longer that they have to try to hold on to a 1-run lead, you knew that the Mets would break through, and they did so with a pair of sacrifice flies, and they will look to now keep this momentum rolling in the rest of this series.
A day off for a lot of people on this holiday. Our videos are taking a day off here too, but apologies for that. JD, 3 losses in a row for the Mets last week, and the sky was falling. And now, you know, the narrative was Soto doesn't care, everything's terrible, but now they got 3 wins in a row. Are we good now? Are we good?
They're only as good until their next game. You know, they're going to go to bed tonight saying, hey, we got to win. But is a 2-1 walk-off win at home against the White Sox really feel that good? Like, you kind of feel like, whew, we just got lucky that we didn't lose that ball game. So they expect better than that in New York. I'm no doubts they will play better at some point. But it's a good thing that they're playing a team like the White Sox right now, where they can pull out wins like that when they don't have their offense going the way we know it can at some point.
Yeah, and if they did lose this game to the White Sox, you know that
everybody's fired.
Yeah,
everybody's fired. Soto's traded. It's over.
Hey, let's take it to Todd from Locked On White Sox for his perspective on what happened in this one, as the White Sox just didn't give Adrian Hauser any support.
Adrian Hauser deserved better, but unless he was going to throw a perfect game, there was no way the White Sox were going to win this one. Now when the lineup goes 0 for 11 with runners in scoring position. Hello, I'm Todd Welter, host of Locked On White Sox, and the White Sox drop another close game. This time it's a 2-1 defeat to the New York Mets. And Hauser dazzled in his second start for the White Sox, and even more impressive was he did it at Citi Field, where he struggled for the Mets last season. Hauser's yet to give up a run in a White Sox uniform, but he can't get any run support as the Sox score just a run, just like they did in his first start. The Pale Hose had their opportunities to put the Mets away, especially late in the game, with scoring chances over the final 3 innings, and they came up with nothing. Driving and runs has been a problem for the Sox all season, considering their team average with runners in scoring position is dead last in the league. And the Mets were finally able to break through against the Sox leaky bullpen, and another chance to pick up a victory was wasted. And I'll have more on tomorrow's episode of Locked On White Sox.
Yeah, bummer if you're a White Sox fan to waste a start like that and just not be able to break through. Hey, when we come back, we're going to be talking about the Red Sox. They sent their ace to the mound in Garrett Crochet in Milwaukee. Were they able to get the job done? We're going to talk about that and much, much more coming right up.
Get the supplies you need from the site made for the skilled trades. That's Supply House. Whether you're into plumbing, it's HVAC, electrical work, Supply House is the reliable way to order your products online. Their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources and the latest product information to help you get the job done right, which is the ultimate goal. Plus, with a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts from 400-plus top brands, you're going to find exactly what you need delivered fast from coast to coast. And if you happen to need some help with an order, one of my favorite things about Supply House is that they offer expert support and industry-leading service where you actually get to talk to a real person. No robots, no hitting buttons over and over and trying to, figure out if the operator can find you. You don't have to worry about that. You get to talk to a real person. And for trade pros, if you want that extra edge, they're going to hook you up with that free Trade Master program, which offers exclusive perks like a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every order. Thousands of skilled professionals, they have already been taking advantage of this. Now it's your turn. Join the Trade Master program today at supplyhouse.com/TM and start ordering plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies with just a few clicks. Use the promo code SH5 for 5% off your first order. That's supplyhouse.com.
Back here on a Locked On MLB Game Night, every game, every night, the Red Sox sent their ace to the mound in Milwaukee. Garrett Crochet made his 12th start of the year, while the Brewers had a short outing from their starter, Chad Patrick. Chuck from Locked On Brewers shares how his team picked him up and did just enough to give the Brewers a little nice bump in Boston. Let's check it out.
And how about that bullpen? Once again, the pitching staff in general. The Brewers offense makes the pitching staff do the heavy lifting again, and the Brewers deliver a win on Memorial Day. Hi, everybody. Chuck Freeman, Instant Reaction to Locked On Brewers. And DL Hall, 2 1/3 was terrific in relief. Got another short start by a Brewer starter, in this case Chad Patrick, but DL Hall fresh off the injured list at the expense of sending down Logan Henderson, who we didn't want us to get sent down, but I get it. Hall comes in and gives them some big innings in relief, and the Brewers get the first game against Boston. We'll talk about Logan Henderson's getting sent down and a few other things as well, and this win all later on tonight on Memorial Day on the next edition of Locked On Brewers. Please subscribe.
Yeah, JD, I don't know about you, but when it comes to wins and losses and starting pitching, Garrett Crochet is a great example of why his 4-4 record can't be held against him. A 2.04 ERA in 12 starts, 75 innings pitched, a 1.07 whip, basically one guy getting on base via the walk or hit per inning. Rob Refschneider actually talked to the New England Sports Network afterward and was quoted as saying, I'm tired of losing. I'm tired of losing close games. We just need to figure it out. We suck right now. your thoughts on his thoughts in this one.
I mean, it's okay to be blunt. I mean, when you're not playing well, you don't have to beat around the bush and use a bunch of cliches. We're battling, we're doing. You get tired of hearing that. And Boston is a town that can kind of see right through that kind of stuff. They don't need you to sugarcoat it. Just be honest with them. Like, we suck right now. We're gonna be better. We're gonna try to be better. It's not like we're not trying, but we're in a bad spot, and we're going to do everything we can to get out of it. Next question. And you move on. That's the way you handle it. I appreciate the honesty like that. I think it's good.
It's refreshing when you see that. And, speaking of moving on, they're going to want to move on in the next game against the Brewers on Tuesday. Hey, the Rockies met the Cubs at Wrigley. The Cubs, really good. The Rockies are not. And so could the Rockies slow down the Cubs, who have been one of the best teams in baseball? We're going to turn it over to Sam Ober of Locked On Cubs to find out.
You don't always have to be pretty. Just win as many of them as you can, and that's what happened on Memorial Day at Wrigley Field as the Cubs defeat the Rockies 3-1. I'm Sam Ober from the Locked On Cubs podcast. Wasn't a lot of hits, only 4 hits for the Cubs. It was kind of a grind type of game, and sometimes over the course of 162, you got to win those ball games, especially against very bad teams. And The Cubs did that on Monday. Jameson Taillon was terrific. He was the big story. But for me, I want to give a shout out. I know Tucker drove in the runs, but I want to give a shout out to Matt Shaw. I thought Matt Shaw, without really doing anything at the plate in terms of squaring up the baseball, had a huge impact on this game. He made a great play at third. He was really steady over there all day, and he drew 2 long at-bat walks to lead off innings and came around to score both times. And I thought those 2 at-bats and his defense really stood out to me as one of the differences in this game. He's really helped this team since coming back, and the Cubs are playing great baseball. Enjoy the rest of Memorial Day weekend. Your first place Cubs are 33-21 and rolling.
That's a good place to be, 33-21 if you're a Cubs fan. Now, he mentioned Jameson Taillon was the story of the game. JD, what was he talking about?
He actually took a perfect game into the 5th inning in this one, and he looked really, really good. Mickey Moniak, former Angel, Mickey Moniak.
That's right.
Hit a 2-out solo home run to bust up just everything, the no-hitter, the perfect game, the shutout. But Taillon, he was really good. Moves to 4-3, has given up 1 run or less in back-to-back starts and has done it 4 times total this season. For a team like the Cubs, who have been dealing with some injuries in the starting rotation, to see him, step up in this situation, it's good news for the Cubs. I got a chance to watch them in person over the weekend, and they're a good team. That's all you can say about it, man. Considering what they've been going through, like I said, in that rotation with the injuries, PCA and company, Suzuki, they're strong.
Yeah, they're keeping it going for the Cubs. Speaking of keeping it going, the Orioles were looking for their 3rd straight win against the Cardinals, who just came off a sweep of the Diamondbacks. JD, what happened in the Cardinals meeting the Orioles in Baltimore?
Dylan friggin' Carlson is what happened.
Oh, no.
Former Cardinals top prospect, and we all have this, right? Where a guy gets spurned from your organization, goes to another team, and as soon as you see him, he torches you. Yeah. And that's what happened in this one. Dylan Carlson goes 2 for 4 with 2 runs, a stolen base, and what turned out to be the game-winning 3-run home run in the 4th inning. One of the big reasons why the Cardinals have won so many games this year, because they're not a slugging team by any means, but they have elite defense so far this season. Lead the league in outs above average, but had 2 errors in this one, and both of those led to runs for Baltimore. Nolan Gorman was playing at third base for Arenado, who was out after making that awesome catch on Sunday to help in the game in the 9th inning against the Diamondbacks. So he was in there. Ground ball the 1st inning, possible double play ball, throws it into right field. That run ends up scoring. Brendan Donovan with a throwing error in the 4th on a possible double play ball. And this was a goofy one where he had a bad angle and it just hit the runner in the back trying to throw it to second base. It wasn't like he just, shot it and it was really bad. Just tough angle. But next hitter is Carlson. The 3-run shot happens right after it, and you give other teams, it doesn't matter how bad the team is, you give another team extra outs and extra opportunities, they usually burn you. Charlie Morton, 0-7 this year. The ERA almost 8. Just turns back the clock, 6 innings, 2 runs, 4 hits, 5 Ks to get his first win of the season. It was a disappointing effort on the Cardinals side of things, but the Orioles have now won 3 in a row, so maybe they're feeling better about themselves.
Yeah, I got to start somewhere. And, I find that the Angels are the victim of someone's first win of the season, or some team breaks some stupid record against them. So was it more frustrating to have this Dylan Carlson revenge game or the Charlie Morton win for you?
Dylan Carlson. When the guy has lived in your house for so many years and you trained him and you nurtured him, and it just didn't work out. It's nothing personal for Dylan Carlson, but you do all of this. He was one of your former top prospects, and the things just didn't work. And for him to just kick your butt in the first game that you go up against him with the Orioles, because they played him when he was with Tampa Bay after the trade last year for a series. But this was the first real game where it felt like he had a major impact in it, and it stings, dude. Sucks.
I learned it from watching you, Dad. That's what he said to the Cards today. Finally, let's take it to the Reds and the Royals. The Reds coming out of a frustrating weekend where they lost 2 of 3 to the Cubs in Cincinnati. They blew late leads on Friday and Sunday. Meanwhile, the Royals lost 2 of 3 to Minnesota, but like most Kansas City games, they were tight games, as they usually tend to be. Jeff Carr from Locked On Reds is describing his feelings with Will Ferrell quotes and Will Ferrell movie. I'm a fan of Will Ferrell movies. Let's hear what
See if
Jeff
we can
has to
name the
say.
movie.
There we go.
I am in a glass case of emotion when it comes to this baseball team.
Anchorman, baby.
They won, and the Royals had the tying run at the plate in the bottom of the 9th inning. I tell you, I feel like I've lived 2 lifetimes in this season. What's up? This is Jeff Carr from the Locked On Reds podcast. And after losing a series 2 out of 3 to the Chicago Cubs, that had a few pitches gone differently, you could have easily seen the Reds sweep. The Reds went up 6-0 against the Kansas City Royals on Memorial Day in Kansas City. And you thought, okay, maybe we've got something. And yet again, in the 9th inning, they have a chance to lose. This time, though, they didn't. It's a wave of emotion. Quite frankly, I mean, there are performances that are going on by different players on the mound and at the plate, and things are happening, and we'll discuss that on the next Locked On Reds, but I need to calm down.
Somebody called the ambulance on Jeff. They were worried about him.
Somebody dialed 911 on him. And is this guy okay in the backyard? Look at him.
He's having a rough Memorial Day.
Living and dying with each and every game. That's why you're a fan, right?
Exactly. That's what happens to the best of us. Now, considering Bobby Witt Jr. went 0 for 4 in this one, Jonathan India 1 for 4, just 120 over his last 7 games. That, the Reds were able to eke that one out 7-4 and hang on to that victory. Hey, we got bonus baseball happening in San Diego. We're going to tell you all about it coming right up. We're back here on a Locked On MLB Game Night. Arizona meets the Pirates in Arizona. The Diamondbacks host the Pirates. Arizona starters had pitched really well in their last series, but they still got swept by your Cards in St. Louis. They lost 5 in a row coming to this one. The Pirates' O'Neal Cruz, remember, over the weekend, hit that 123-mile-an-hour home run. They went 4-3 last week in division games against the Reds and the Brewers. A nice stretch there for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Were they able to raise the Jolly Roger, keep the D-backs tumbling and not picking up their first win in 6 games? Well, here's Gary from Locked On Pirates to tell us if his team was able to get it done in the desert.
The Pirates fall 5-0 to the Danger Noodles in Arizona tonight on Memorial Day. Not a great outcome, and the offense sputtered really to do anything all night. They put themselves in some decent situations, but again, could never get that big hit. Never seemed like anybody really was into this game. It just wasn't working out. Andrew Heaney, slow to get started. Hey, I'm Gary from Locked On Pirates. Tomorrow morning, we're going to be talking a lot about this because the most interesting aspect of the game was Braxton Ashcraft making his Major League debut and going 3 scoreless to close this one out. The Pirates are doing something different for this team. They haven't done it in a long time. Onboarding pitchers who are supposed to be starters into the bullpen is something that has been a no-no during this regime. Good to see. Mike Burrows starts tomorrow, another young prospect. So starting to infuse those up. It's starting to look like silk curtains on a crack house, too, with this offense. More about this tomorrow on Locked On Pirates.
Man,
I don't know if I've ever heard that term before.
And I had never heard Danger Noodles either for Diamondbacks. So that's pretty great. Yeah. When you're in the position that the Pirates are in, you rely on those young guys that you're excited about to come up and at least give you something to cheer about. But here's the thing. Eugenio Suarez hit his 15th home run. Josh Naylor got his 6th home run. Ryan Nelson was fantastic. 6 2/3 a shutout ball. Corbin Carroll, he's had a fantastic April, but this month, just 221, and even worse, 115 batting average over his last 7 games. So
my fantasy team needs you, Corbin. You're killing me, Smalls. Let's go.
That's when we care the most, is when they're on our specific fantasy team. Let's take it to San Diego. I mentioned we got some bonus baseball. The Padres and Marlins both took 2 out of 3 this weekend. The Marlins took 2 out of 3 from my Angels snapped their 8-game win streak. The Marlins sent Ryan Weathers to the mound in his 3rd start of the year. He faced the Cubs in his last 2 starts, now facing the Padres. He pitched well, and so did Randy Vasquez, but neither of them factored into the decision. In the bottom of the 11th, it was a walk-off wild pitch that scored Tyler Wade from 3rd for the Padres to have a 4-3 victory. The Marlins were ahead 3-0 in this one, but the Padres got right back into it. Jeremiah Geiger talks about how this one ended. He's the host of Locked On Marlins. Wasn't too happy with Marlins manager Clayton McCullough and his bullpen decisions. Let's kick it over to Jeremiah right now.
Marlins gift wrap a victory to the San Diego Padres and lose in walk-off fashion at Petco Park. It's Jeremiah Geiger from the Locked On Marlins podcast. If your last run is in the 2nd inning and you don't score all the way for the rest of the game, and the game ends in the 11th, number 1, you deserve to lose. Number 2, where is your high leverage arms? Ronnie Enriquez and Anthony Bender both failed to appear in this one. Just absent from the game. Clayton McCullough doesn't call on them. Instead, it's Cade Gibson who gets the bottom of the 11th. And with 2 strikes to Jake Cronenworth, throws a pitch in the dirt about 3 feet in front of home plate, gets away from Liam Hicks. The winning run scores from 3rd. Enriquez had pitched twice in the Angels series, 19 pitches combined. Anthony Bender, 1 appearance in the Angels series, 21 pitches. They should have been available. That's bad mismanagement from Clayton McCullough when it comes to the bullpen, and it cost them. Manny Machado tied this game up in the 8th inning with a home run off Calvin Fauché, who's just not having a good year. And the Marlins lose. They found a way to lose this one. Check out Locked On Marlins tomorrow for more.
I got to say, he said that Gibson's pitch was in the dirt, but JD, it was in the grass, bro. It was it was
bad.
in there.
I was watching that game too.
Yeah.
And I saw the Machado home run to tie things up. And you can tell, like, the crowd, even the announcement, he was just like, crowd here kind of anticipating that something big from Machado is going to happen. And thump, and there it goes. And yeah, that's a tough way to lose, man. Yeah. You can feel the defeat in Jeremiah's voice right there. That's not a fun way. You'd rather at least give up a base hit or something, and you spike a ball into the ground before it even reaches the dirt of home plate. That's awful.
It was bad. Hey, take us down to Tampa, JD, where the Twins met the Rays to begin this series.
Well, the Rays actually come into this holiday hot. They've won their last 5 in a row. Back to the 500 mark. They're always one of those teams that just kind of figures out a way.
Yeah. They're back.
To just kind of be relevant out of nowhere. While the Twins have gone 3-2 since that awesome 13-game winning streak. Both starters kept it scoreless through 5. But you had Jonathan Arenado, 3-run home run, opened up the game. Carlos Correa, 4th home run of the season in the 7th to put the Twins within 1, but a Rays 4-run 8th inning ended up sealing it a deal as Jose Caballero doubles into Danny Jansen added some insurance with a 2-run home run. So Rays ended up running away with this one by a score of 7-2. Twins fans probably not all that thrilled, but it's just really tough for them. When you saw that they get this 13-game winning streak, and then they barely made that much ground. Like, they're still like 5 games out in the division. So kind of feels a little defeating if you're in Minnesota right now to have a stretch like that and still be as far back as you are.
Yeah, especially with how hard they had to fight back to get back into it. And the Rays, 500, above 500 now, 1 game above 500, trying to get back in the AL East here. Let me take you to Yankees coming to the Big A in Anaheim. They're playing my Angels on Monday night. They turned it into Yankee Stadium West every time, JD. And this is not a new thing. This has been going on for years and years and years. And let me just vent for a little bit because it drives me nuts when these people in Southern California who've never been to New York City come to the stadium in their brand new Yankee hats that have never been worn before. They just bought their Bellinger and Volpe jerseys that they just ordered last week.
On them, tags are on them.
The shiny stickers and whatnot. It frustrates the heck out of me. But the Yankees ended up taking this one 5-1. Anthony Volpe had a bases clearing double in the 4th inning. That followed a bases loaded walk from Angels starter Jack Johanowitz, who had retired the first 9 in a row. Well, he faced the minimum. He did walk 1, but he ended up facing the minimum. And then the Yankees just said, all right, well, we're not going to approach him the same way. We're going to change it up a little bit, and that's certainly what they did in the fourth inning. And Zach Neto, shortstop for the Angels, had his fourth leadoff home run in the month of May to start the game, and it felt like a good omen, but one bad inning from Jack Kohanowitz was all it took. So the Yankees took this one 5-1, unfortunately for my Halos, and fortunately for the real Yankee fans in New York, not the ones that live here in Southern California. Take us to Detroit, where the Giants met the Tigers today, JD.
Yeah, Tigers are coming off that 5-0 win. Tarek Skubal doing insane things in that particular game. They beat the Guardians in that final game to avoid the sweep. Giants right on the Dodgers' heels in the NL West. They're just right behind them. 30 wins coming into this game, and it was a pitcher's duel in Detroit with the Tigers coming out on top 3-1. Kader Montero ends up tossing 5 shutout innings. He allows just 1 hit. The Giants got 1 run off the bullpen, but the Detroit Tigers bullpen was rock solid over 4 innings. Tigers offense got 1 in the 4th on a Dylan Dingler single, and then a 2-run single off the bat of my personal favorite player that plays for the Tigers. I love watching Riley Green play.
Killing it this year, man.
I just think he's one of those guys that just like, he's never going to have, he's not going to hit 330 with 35 bombs. He's not going to blow you away, but he finds different ways to help his team win every single game.
Yeah.
I just find him very impressive, but he ends up getting the 2-run single in the 5th, and that's all they needed. Tigers move up to 35-20 on the season, 35 wins, the most in baseball. Giants fall to 31-23. They're now 2 games back of the Dodgers. How about you tell us what's going on with them Blue Jays and Rangers?
Yeah, the Blue Jays went down south to Arlington, Texas to meet the Rangers. Both teams a little disappointing so far. Neither of them at the 500 mark on the year, despite having payrolls inside the top 10 across baseball. Jacob deGrom was back on the mound, and he's been awesome to start the year. He's healthy. He's doing Jacob deGrom things, not throwing as hard as he used to, but doesn't need to. And then Kevin Gausman, who's coming off 7 shutout innings against the Padres. It was Gausman who won this duel. He goes 8 innings, surrenders 1 run, 5 Ks, and the 1 run was just a solo shot to Wyatt Langford. He's lowered his ERA from 4.59 on May 15th to 3.68. Almost shaved off an entire run there. deGrom wasn't bad either, but he had a weird stat. 0 strikeouts for him in this game. The first time in his 12-year career that he didn't record a strikeout. He's been able to strike out at least 1 batter in all 228 games he played in before Monday. Toronto's offense came through in the form of a Dalton Varsho home run, his 8th of the year, and then a sac fly from Alejandro Kirk. Suspiciously, I'm not seeing Bo Bichette or Vladdy Jr. or any of those guys there, but that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. Jeff Hoffman, who's had a bad May, threw a clean 9th inning to get his 11th save, so it ends up being a 2-1 victory for Toronto down in Texas. That's going to do it for this edition of Locked On MLB Game Night. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. We hope you'll come back. JD and I will be back at it tomorrow night, so don't forget to tune in. You can catch us in your audio feed on your podcast feeds as well if you'd like to. And again, we'll see you back here on Tuesday night on Locked On MLB Game Night, where it's every game, every night.